Truckers, Zach, the stock cropper, eastbound and down currently, literally and figuratively. But it's been a long minute and a lot of things to bring people up to date on. I know I've been quiet on the socials, but there's been a lot of things going on in the back room, or the background, I should say. And so that's what today's video is, to get everyone up to speed on what the stock cropper has been up to. So first item up is availability of barns. I've been getting lots of questions from all over the place. We've had a lot of positive press, being in Civil Eats and the Furrow magazine here. Those that saw that, and I had a lot of people reaching out wanting to buy barns. Where we are at on that is there are not going to be any barns for sale. We're still working on refining prototypes that we're going to relaunch and test for the first part of this season, with the goal of first commercial sales right now being late in 2023, heading into the 2024 season. So reason for that is I want to make sure that these things are good enough to go, that people aren't going to have any issues. We're getting very close, specifically on barns like the Cluster Cluck Nano, and we're just working on some things like the auto steer system to really test and hone that to make sure that's working properly. So that is the update. No barns for now, but stay tuned. If you want a barn and you want to be on the first reserve list, you need to go to thestockcropper.com and sign up on our mailing list on the website, and that will be the medium that I give people first opportunity when the barns become available. I always wanted to do that. I watched like Millennial Farmer do it. Just had to pop some brakes. So what else is going on? Lots of things. Lots of really, really good positive things. So I'll start off with probably some of the biggest news, or a couple really big things. Stock Cropper got their first venture capital investment coming from Ag Ventures Alliance, a venture firm here in Iowa that invests specifically in ag startup companies. So super grateful to Spencer and Jordan and the Ag Ventures group in general for believing in what we're doing and giving us some fuel to keep operating and pushing to move the company forward. So that's an exciting piece of information, number one. The second thing that I'm really excited about is I applied for a chance to pitch at something called the Regenerative Agricultural Innovation Summit, which is held in Chicago. And that contest, so I had to put in an app, and they had 5 spots to have a chance to pick in Chicago in the end of March, and got notified last week that Stock Cropper was picked to be one of those 5 pitches. And so it's a pretty big deal. For us, it'll be the biggest opportunity we've had, pitching in front of a lot of movers and shakers in the big food industry, and see if we can find people that are additionally interested in investing in what we're doing. So another piece of good news and progress. So today is the 1st of March, and my goal was by the end of February to have this planter back together. So the last time you saw it in the video, it was all assembled. We tore all of the units off and had it just down to the bar. We had to weld a little bit of an extension onto the end of the bar here to make these 72-inch twins have enough frame space to set them up in that schematic. And so that is what we just finished up, was getting everything tightened in, with the exception of a bolt, because the alignment on these things in a twin row is really, really tight. You actually have to change the whole alignment, and the wheel runs more like this, kind of vertically, so it doesn't run into the gauge wheel next door. But it's fun to see this thing come more into focus. We still have a ways to go. We've got to plug some back hoses and get new chains and get all the electrical stuff. So this is a John Deere planter, but I'm going to try to marry it because I've got Ag Leader electric controller stuff in this tractor. The other thing that we got done was we did get the MX set out to 120-inch spacing. I was going to probably do this regardless, just because it matches up with I side dress and spray with this tractor. So we got these rims from Wolf Wheel and St. Ansgar and put them out. Kind of fought it a bit on the backs because these hadn't been moved before, but Now we don't have to worry about tram lines with these weird spacings. You can see that we fit just inside with the 72s here. And the other nice thing is that we've got space so we can change this thing into different arrangements. So we're gonna do 72s for sure. And depending on how much time, we may do some twin 60s. We could do the twin 90s as well. We've got enough roll units on here kind of specifically to play around in the season as time allows. It'll really come down to just how much time we have. We always have plenty of time in our heads when it's this time of the year. But when the going gets going and you're trying to get the crop in, and the plots usually take the back seat. But I'm excited for this. I really feel strongly that this 72-inch gap is going to be a potential winner. We're going to have 64 inches of space in between, which will be wide enough to drive. I think the mini truck I'm going to try to pick up a 48-inch drill to drill covers in between these gaps and get that established about V3 or V4, and have some Mongo corn and twin row orientation with a beautiful mix of covers. And we're going to do a couple different mixes, I think, to see kind of what works and what doesn't. But I'm really excited to see this thing come to life here this spring. So what else have I been up to? Doing a lot of work and planning on how we're going to make the biggest impact. 2023 is going to be the biggest year yet that we've had for this project. And so what I've been working on is trying to get barns, position the barns that we built, including the 2 cluster cluck nanos that we built last year. One is we sent out to Indiana to Jason Mox. We're going to actually probably split his barn for right now and bounce that between his place and we got a phone call about a week ago from a TV show on RFD TV that wants to do some filming. They found out about our cluster clucks and want to get them on site here this spring for content that'll maybe be coming out next fall on RFD TV. And so that's really cool. So we're going to try to get at least one cluster cluck there, and probably the one that Jason has, and bounce that thing back and forth a little bit. The other one, some of you may have heard if you've been going to any of the Precision Planting winter update meetings that they're having around the country. You might have seen a stock cropper barn in their presentations, and that's because we've made a commitment to send the other stock cropper nano down to their PTI farm in Pontiac, Illinois. And they've been doing strip intercrop research. Jason Webster and his team down there, they reached out last year about Farm Progress Showtime to me and said, hey, we found the same thing that you guys found, that soybeans just don't cut the mustard in between these strips of corn, and we'd like to try one of your barns. So we're going to send the nano down there and let them play around. And folks that want, if you're going to go to the PTI farm this year, if everything goes well in the next month or so here, we're going to attempt to get one of the nanos down there for that as well. So and then the other thing that I'm working on right now, I actually started in the last week, is prototype design around a backyard cluster cluck for broiler and hen production. And I think most likely what is going to come out of our first production run, hopefully later this year, is going to be that backyard production piece and the cluster cluck nano. Those are the easiest things to solve right now. The cluster cluck 5000s are probably going to have to wait until later, probably till next winter, to get redesigned and relaunched. That's at least the plan right now, but I wanted to kind of give everybody an idea of how all of that stuff was sitting. So the other thing that got established this last week is I got a call from Practical Farmers of Iowa, and they wanted to do a stock cropper field day this summer. And I said, well, I already kind of do a field day, so why don't we do something together? So right now, the tentative plan for those, I usually start getting questions about planning time. When's your field day going to be? And I never have an answer usually till July. Well, I think the plan is for right now, if you want to mark it on your calendars for vacations and weddings or bar mitzvahs that you want to attend this summer, we're going to be shooting for August 26th, which is a Saturday morning, similar to what we did last year, to try to allow more people to be able to come and see what we got cooking up at our plots just east of Buffalo Center, Iowa. So that'll be a co-sponsored event with Practical Farmers of Iowa, assuming that everything that we've set up initially here goes to plan. So no pressure. We just got to make sure all these things come together once again and get our plots in. But we're going to have a lot of really cool concepts. Jason Mock and I have been collaborating on some crazy wild ideas. He's going to have some amazing stuff at his farm out in Indiana if his imagination is able to, or if his skill set is able to capture what his imagination has in mind. So between Indiana and Iowa, we're going to have some fun stuff to look at this summer for sure. So what else? A couple podcasts coming out. One came out this week, I think. I think it's the Doomer podcast or something like that Jason Mock and I recorded together about a week ago, kind of talking about farm weird stuff. And that should be on socials here soon, advertised. I'm heading to St. Louis towards the middle of the month to do the Vance Crowe podcast. If you haven't ever checked out Vance Crowe's podcast, it's a very eclectic mix of guests from all walks of life that I have come to enjoy. And so I'm excited to go down and talk to Vance. He's specifically interested in food sovereignty and doing some cool things on his own property. So I'm interested to visit with him about some of these concepts we've been working on, to share that with him. And then I'm going to be doing the Mason City, North Iowa Egg Week breakfast, I think on March 23rd. I'm going to be speaking at that. And then, like I said, I've got that pitch contest out in Chicago. So if you are in a spot that matches up with any of those paths on the way to St. Louis, Mason City, Iowa, or out in Chicago, don't be afraid to reach out to me. And if you would like to get together and visit and talk, I'm always open to that stuff when I'm on the road. So I think that is it for now. March is thankfully coming in like a lion. I really meant lamb. Northern hinterlands, we've lost a lot of our snow, and we could be in the fields planting potentially in 6 weeks. So it's exciting stuff. It's all going to happen fast. But like always, appreciate your support, and thanks for watching.